Hi everyone, this is Sahiti Vellanki, working as a assistant professor in Department of CSE ML and IoT. Today I am going to start my new lecture series on the course called DevOps. So before I can start the course series DevOps, I want to give you the course content overview. In VNR VJET, we are regularly practicing the teaching pedagogy called WIT and WIL. WIT and WIL is a teaching pedagogy to give the course content overview to both the teacher and the student. So first I'm going to tell you what is WIT and what is WIL. Later we'll focusing on the course content. First, what is WIT? WIT is nothing but what I am teaching, why am I teaching. This is completely on faculty centric. What will is nothing but what I am learning, why am I learning. This is completely on student centric. So first, as a faculty, I am going to focusing on what I am teaching, why am I teaching. That is called WIT. So what I am teaching today, I am going to teaching you about DevOps course. So the DevOps course, we are going to be divided into 5 units. Unit 1, we are going to focusing on introduction to DevOps and the business agility. And unit 2, we are going to focus on software architectures and need for the DevOps. On unit 3, we are focusing on version control, containerization and Kubernetes. On unit 5, we are focusing on CI/CD, nothing but continuous integration and continuous deployment and testing and monitoring. And unit 5, we are focusing on infrastructure as a code, IAC, and dev secured apps, how we are going to securing the DevOps applications on the cloud. This is about what I am going to teach called WIT. And WIT also have another acronym called why am I teaching. I am going to teach why I am teaching. I am going to teach to equip the students with practical skills that align the modern industry demands for faster and more reliable software delivery. To help the student to understand how collaborations between the developers and the operations team leads to high efficiency and good quality software, and to prepare the student for real world challenges like managing the infrastructure on the cloud and load balancing on the cloud, scaling the applications on the cloud to improve the team productivity of software deployment. So these are the different points we are focusing on why I am teaching these DevOps as a course. So this is about the as a teacher, I am going to tell you what I am teaching, why I am teaching. And as a student point of view, what student is going to learn and why the student has to learn is the WIT. So today I am going to focusing on only WIT scenario as a faculty. The WIT in the unit 1, as I told you, introduction to DevOps and the business agility. In this unit, I am going to cover you about the DevOps, introduction to DevOps, what is DevOps, introduction to DevOps, life cycle of the DevOps, what are the different goals and the benefits of using or learning these DevOps in the software industry. And last one is how to improve the business agility using DevOps. That is, we are going to consider in unit 1. On unit 2, we are going to focusing on the software, different software architectures, what type of software architecture will suit for the DevOps implementations. And unit 3, I am going to focusing on version control, containerization and Kubernetes. The version control is one of the phase on our DevOps lifecycle of the coding phase. It is an automation tool. We are using the GitHub is a tool for the version control. And for the containerization is we are using for automation tool called Dockers. And the Kubernetes and Dockers both are used for to deploy the code into the servers. To integrate the code with the servers, we are using the automation tool called Jenkins. The Jenkins is the one of the CD tool, continuous deployments tool. This will be focusing in detail of unit 3 course series. On unit 4, we are going to focusing on CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment, and testing and monitoring we are focusing. So here testing and monitoring also we are going to use the automation tools called Selenium testing, J testing, Postman testing. For the monitoring, we are going to learn about Grafana. Grafana is the monitoring tool. We are going to learn about how the activities are going on in between the different phases. On Unit 5, we are going to focus on infrastructure as a code. How we are going to place these infrastructure onto the cloud. How we are going to provide the security for these applications on the cloud. For that, we are using the automation tool called Terraform. So this is about our course content of 5 units. Finally, I am going to explain these course contents with one application called Netflix. Actually, the Netflix was started the application on 2007 by DVD streaming. After later on 2014, the Netflix started online video streaming of the applications. So how these Netflix, why the Netflix is shifted into online video streaming application? In initial days, whenever we are going to try to download the video through the Netflix, it will take a lot of time. Server, we are getting the message called server down, please wait after some time. Why? Because the thousands of users want to access the Netflix application on various devices on the same time. To access that application on the same time, if your servers are Netflix server will get downtime. So to avoid that, Netflix has adopted the technology called DevOps. So through the DevOps technology, the Netflix application is having the number of modules, the development engineers. Only there is a 60 to 70 developers team will be there in the Netflix DevOps team. That the 70 engineers are taking the different modules and written the code and give it to the GitHub. GitHub is the version control tool. Wherever the developers has written the code, everything we are going to be stored in the GitHub. This is called central repository for the developers. So once the code is going to be stored in the GitHub repository through the Jenkins, we are going to continuous. So development is over. We need to focusing on the operations. The operations is nothing but whatever the developer has developed, it is going to be pushed into the servers. So to push the servers, here we are using the tool called Jenkins. So once we can push the code, we may have the different errors while deploying the code. For that, we may use a Sonar Cube for to test, and Node.js is the one to check the dependencies on the code, and FlyScan is the one code, and OPL. These are the different tools. For the containerization, we are using the Dockers, and for the image scan, we are going to be used, and for Kubernetes is the application where this is the one automation tool where we are going to be deploy the code. For using this code, all this is going to be, once everything is success, we'll get the email notification through Gmail. After that, this complete notation we are call it as a CI/CD pipeline. Once this pipeline is success, we'll get the mail notification. Everything is going to be monitored by the monitoring tool called Prometheus and Grafana. So this is about the live example of where we are going to be use a DevOps. So Netflix is the one common application where simply it is shifted into the DevOps to get the faster delivery of video streaming operations. Thank you everyone.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe VNR Digital Learning Resource YouTube channel.